Why do you need a trading mentor? Everybody, when they start out in business, trading, they always think, I can just figure this stuff out on my own. And guess what? You can't. It's more a matter of time. Are you going to figure it out in 10 plus years, or are you going to figure out in 1 or 2 years? When I started trading, it was in college. And I had so many runs up and down. I'd make money, lose money, make money, lose money. But I knew for a fact this would be my career for the rest of my life. I knew that even in college. So I studied. Man, I studied. I traded, I studied, I traded. Never went to class. Basically almost failed out. I spent so much time and effort doing it. And then you know what happened after college? I had to go get a job because I sucked. Then once I got a job, guess what happened? I had some more money, some capital coming in, which, a lot of times is one of the keys to, right, being a good trader. You got to have some capital. So I had some capital coming in. And I'm like, whoo. In college, I was bare bones in it. I mean, it was like, I'm trying to take $1, make it look like 10 to make 100. But in the end, I was just losing that $1. So I thought in my head, I got more experience, I got more capital, here we go. I'm ready for the big time. I'm gonna be at this job for like a year. I'm gonna peace out on this thing and live. So, get out of college, I'm working, I got the capital, I got the goods, I got everything. I got experience, money, right, a lot more going on. Yeah, I was okay for a second, then my old habits came back. My old habits came back, but most importantly, my lack of knowledge without a proper structure really came back. I had knowledge, but it's all coming from a million different places. I had all this knowledge. Man, I was reading books, hundreds of trading books. There's no blogs back then. Don't ask me how old I am, but there's no blogs back then. I'm doing message boards and Motley Fool, reading books, going to the library. There was a thing called libraries back then too. It was amazing. I had so much knowledge all coming back to me. And guess what? Still nothing. Why? I have a weak foundation. I'm taking in like a piece of knowledge from here, a piece of knowledge from here. I'm trying to marry Warren Buffett style with Paul Tudor Jones' style with this type of day trader style. How can that work? So in the end, I had the capital, I had a little bit more experience, and so my hopes of, piecing out on my job weren't happening. In the end, it took me finding a trading mentor by luck. I wasn't looking for one, I found one by luck that helped me take it to not the next level, but 10 levels above. Because I was nowhere, I was at a -5. So, I got to a 5. What ended up happening is, I'm reading all these blogs and I'm just trying to figure out like what this thing's all about. And I come upon a blog called Market Speculator Blogspot. One of those old school Google blog spots. It was amazing. And I'm reading this blog every single day. I still have no mentor, but I'm just reading this blog. And some of it's making sense to me. I'm like, wow, this is actually pretty good. I'm actually following this stuff. But, blog is just a blog. And then one day I noticed, by blind luck, because, the blogger, his name was Paul. So I'm thinking like, okay, here's a guy in like Maryland, eating crab cakes, looking at some charts. And then like I hadn't even noticed for months. And then one day I see Paul Singh. And I'm like, that's not a guy from Maryland eating crab cakes. That's one of my people in India. So lo and behold, I hit up Paul, say, hey, my Indian brother, do you want to train me? And he's like, no. He's like, no. So I said, hey, I will pay you for some lessons, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, but only if you're really serious, because I've got a ton of stuff going on. I've got all these things, and frankly, I'm trading and doing this. I'm not going to just take you on if you're just like going to come in and screw up. So I said, no problem, I'm serious. And it was then, like my first conversation with Paul, he said, all right, tell me what you've been doing, describe what you've been doing, all these years. So, I'm like 25 years old now. So I've been trying this 5 years plus. I said, here's what I'm doing. This is what I've learned, blah, blah, blah. These are the books I've read. These are my trades. He said, man, he's like, to be honest, like, you know a lot about stocks. You know more about stocks than maybe anybody I've met. I'm like, sweet, I do. He goes, but you know nothing about trading. I'm like, what? I trade every day. He goes, no. You know about stocks. You've been taking all this information from all over this place, but trading is a list of rules and conditions and strategies and methodologies that you can duplicate over and over and that you don't have. So what you got to take is all your knowledge and structure it. And when he did that, it didn't even take me long. 2 weeks, I already saw a night and day difference in my trading, because all that stuff I had rumbling around in my head, he started putting it in the proper order. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. A recipe I can duplicate that he was monitoring and then making corrections on. And I think that's one of the big things about mentorship is not necessarily that secret sauce. It does help to learn some things, but that accountability of somebody's watching you and they're going to help organize whatever's going on in our chaotic brains and then help us duplicate it over and over and over. The best part about having the mentor was not necessarily like, woo, I just learned something that nobody else in the world knows. It was hey, getting that call. Hey, dude, you're going about this just totally backwards. Follow your plan. Do this, this, and this. That's the stuff that's going on. And you know what? Lo and behold, years later, when Bulls on Wall Street started taking off, I called Paul 6 years after. We hadn't talked forever. I said, hey, my business is blowing up. Do you want to come work with me? Build something. And he said, yeah, let's run with it. I've been thinking about something like that for a long time. So now Paul is running our swing trader course, our swing trader service, which is frankly amazing. For a lot of you guys, you can't sit at the computer all day and day trade. You don't have the tools, the situation where you can just sit in front of your computer all day clicking buttons. Swing trading is for you. There's no difference in the money you make between swing trading and day trading. A day trader is just taking 10%, 3%, 2%, 1% over and over and over. A swing trader takes that whole chunk. They take that whole game. Our swing trader service is perfect for those that have jobs. They can't sit in front of the computer. They might need to take these trades on a smartphone. They got to go in with their iPad or smartphone and they want to hold stocks for 3 days, 5 days, 10 days. That's the stuff that our swing trade service is about. And Paul does a great job every night. All our students get a report. They get a report of everything he's watching, everything that he needs to see before he takes a trade. And then, of course, when he's taking them, he's letting them know in real time what he's up to so that our students can follow along and also learn from it. Guys, a lot of times, we think we can handle this. We don't need a mentor. It's a matter of time. You got 5 years, 10 years. I took so many years, wasted so many years. And just by blind luck, I met Paul. I can only imagine because, if I hadn't done that, I would have been just on that same train, trying things over and over to no avail. So get yourself a mentor. Talk to somebody like Paul or me or whoever. But it's going to shorten your learning curve. And frankly, it's going to just take years off your progression. Take care.